Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and I thought I'd do a very quick video, one more video on making hugelkultur beds with a slightly different technique here. This video is maybe 6 minutes long, and this garden took me about 16 minutes to build. Not counting getting those logs ready, that probably took another 15. But I've done videos like this before where I build these little beds using logs to frame it, and I've used pegs and different means to get the logs in position, and just by sheer accident I discovered this really easy method. I'll never go back to pegs now. You just make a little trench about 1/3 the diameter of the log, and then you just jam the log in the trench and the log doesn't go anywhere. So all of those logs, I just dug a little trench really quickly with a pickaxe and jammed them, just jammed the logs into position. You know, I cut the logs to fit, and then dug a trench and stuck them in place so fast, and they, you know, over time they'll just sort of stick there like that, and just such an easy way to get a border set up for a garden. You know, if you like your beds to be sort of defined like that, they don't have to be, and there's lots of people that do hugelkultur beds without defining the edges like that. I prefer that approach. I like garden and not garden to be very distinct in my garden. So what am I doing here? And I've done these videos before, but I thought I'd do a little bit different one and speak to some comments people have made on my hugelkultur videos. This one's really short because I've got lots of, if you want more detail, I've got other videos on this. Just search for hugelkultur videos in Maritime and you'll get my videos. Anyway, I'm just scraping off the sod that was on top here. I'm going to put that back in. But you know, I've done other videos where I've used like seaweed and spoiled stable hay, and people are like, oh, I can't get that, I can't get seaweed, I can't get this thing, I can't get that thing. You don't need any of those things. I mean, most importantly, you need rotten wood. That's the most important thing. If you got rotten wood, you're good. And so in this garden here, all I'm doing is using rotten wood. I think this is going to be a potato garden, and I'll put a really good mulch over it, but just using the sod that was on top, and rotten wood is the only input for this garden. So here I am just scraping all of that off, and it doesn't take too long, and then I'm going to dig a trench, and I don't dig the entire garden out. I dig the you know, within about, I don't know, 10 inches of either side. So I'm digging a trench down the center, maybe. So the garden's 4 feet wide and the trench is about 2 feet wide, and probably about a foot deep, no deeper than that. I don't go too deep. Once you get down about a foot, the soil here gets kind of useless. It's just not, it's just hard rocky, like a light gray clay type stuff. So I mean, I'm sure it's got a high mineral content, but it's not ideal, and it's just hard to dig. It's just, I basically dig down until it gets hard to dig, and I find about a spade's depth is fine for this sort of thing anyway. So, and why am I using buckets as opposed to shoveling it onto a tarp or some other thing? I just find it way easier to get the soil back in when you've got buckets. I've always got these kinds of things lying around, and it's just my sort of frugal approach to life in general. Whenever I see, not in a hoarding fashion, but there's a certain amount of buckets I like to have in my garden, and over time they get cracked and broken and so on and so forth. And when that happens, I just throw them out, and people are always throwing away perfectly good buckets, so I just take them out of people's trash and use them until they break. I think one of the buckets here has got a huge crack in it. Anyway, this is just rotten wood. I don't put too much care into what kind of rotten wood I use. Around my property here, I get spruce, pine, hemlock, birch, maple. Those are the main ones. And basically, if you can whack whack a log and it breaks over something, it's probably rotten enough. You want rotten logs because they've probably taken up a fair amount of nitrogen out of the soil. So here I am throwing the sod and all the weeds and stuff back on. And if you had other organic matter to throw in there, that's when you throw it in, leaves or kitchen scraps or whatever, right? And so now I'm just putting the soil back on top. You see how easy it is to do when you've got it all in buckets. And now I'm just smoothing it out. and getting that all squared away for planting. So yeah, this whole garden, start to finish, on film here. I mean, it's really fast here, and the video is going to be over in less than a minute, but took me about 16 minutes, not counting the time to get the logs cut and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, just one more take on throwing together the hugelkultur garden. I think this is the simplest, easiest way I can come up with. Very fast, very easy, as long as you can source out some sort of material for the sides. So I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. And until next time, get out there, get at it. Have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.